Hi, how are you doing? My name is Rohit and I'll be breaking down the 50th match of this year's IPL, which saw the Sunrisers Hyderabad taking on the Rajasthan Royals in the Rajiv Gandhi Stadium in Hyderabad. And oh my goodness, this game was something. And this was intense back and forth. It looked like one team was in control until they weren't, and SRH ended up winning by a single run. They move up into the playoff race. And now things are getting really interesting. The good news is for Rajasthan is that losing this game doesn't really mean much for them. I think if they win at least one, maybe two more, they're in. I think one more should do the trick to at least qualify. I think they need another two to make it confirm top two. But aside from that, this game, the funny thing is, for both teams, both of their innings started the same. Both teams lost wickets in quick succession early, and a strong third wicket partnership got them in very strong positions. For SRH, that third wicket partnership was between Travis Head and Nitish Kumar Reddy. Nitish Kumar Reddy continues to impress, 76 from 42, and he kind of just anchored the SRH innings after Travis Head goes out, and then once Heinrich Klaasen comes in, Nitish Kumar Reddy realized, oh wait, Klaasen's going really good. I'm going to rotate the strike to him. This is a very, very mature knock from Nitish Kumar Reddy because once Travis Head started to struggle, Nitish Kumar Reddy started to get going, and both players bounced off each other really well. They both picked up where the other left off, and whenever either player was struggling, the other player would start to get going, and the other player was, okay, I can rotate strike. So they both understood how the other player was going, and that understanding helped SRH put up a strong total of 201. And SRH survived that quick multiple wicket fall because of a strong middle order contribution from, again, Nitish Kumar Reddy understanding what the situation is, playing to that situation. Everybody talks about how destructive and aggressive SRH's openers are. But what we haven't seen from this season in general is, can the middle order stabilize? Against RCB and against CSK in their past two games, their middle order did not necessarily stabilize properly, and that ended up costing them both matches. Today, we saw Nitish Kumar Reddy coming in, stabilizing the innings, but also accelerating the innings and keeping SRH on pace for a solid total of over 200. And now for RR, they lost 2 wickets in the very first over. Bhuvneshwar Kumar basically turned back the clock, and he looked like he was in his prime, dismissing Josh Butler and Sanju Samson both for ducks. Massively impressive. And then from there, it was Yashasvi Jaiswal and Rian Parag, Rajasthan's 2 youngsters, with Jaiswal opening and Rian Parag at that number 4 slot. Both of them came together for that third wicket partnership to really set the tone for that chase, because you need a really good partnership to chase any score 200 or above. And Rajasthan got that because they were 1 for 2 in the first over. And Parag and Jaiswal put together a 134-run partnership for the third wicket, putting Rajasthan in a very strong position. However, unlike SRH, who got that significant back-end boost from Heinrich Klaasen, that didn't happen for Rajasthan because Jaiswal and Rian Parag get out relatively close to each other, and then from there, Shimra Hebmeyer 13 from 9, and then Dhruv Jull gets out cheaply, so it came down to Rodman Powell, and all of a sudden it looked like Rajasthan was in pure control of this game, and then all of a sudden it just falls apart. At one point, the equation was all the way down to 21 runs from 17 balls for Rajasthan. That is just, even despite the multiple wickets collapsing, that is relatively nothing. You can find a loose boundary here and there and then just run the rest, and you're home, and you get the 2 points. But credit to the Sunrisers Hyderabad bowlers for really stepping up at that back end, not giving the double R's really anything to work with. So, and it came down to 12 runs needed off the final 6. And Bhuvneshwar Kumar does give up a few runs, and It comes down to 2 runs off of the very last ball. Bhuvanesh Kumar gets Rahman Pala, LBW. Game's over. SRH wins by 1 run. And the thing is, with both of these teams, they didn't necessarily do anything wrong with their bowling, and they also didn't necessarily do anything wrong with their batting. This was a very evenly contested match. Rajasthan was in more control in the chase, and that's what's more important here. Generally speaking, you have to look at the chasing innings, and Rajasthan was in control of their chase for the most part. The required rate was 10. They were at 10s the entire way through, but they just faltered at the very end. Once Parag and Jaiswal both got out, all the batters who came in after them tried to go a little too hard. And in that sort of situation, yes, I get you don't really want to halt momentum, but at the same time, you have to understand. Sometimes you have to be aware that you have to take that one over. You have to take those few balls to really get your bearings and then start launching. Because Rahman Powell showed that you can take a few balls and then make up for it at the back end. That's what players like Shimmer Hebmeyer and Dhruv Jurel should have done here. They should have taken a few balls to settle down for a bit and then start going. But they tried to swing from the start. They didn't find the middle of the bat. They ended up finding the fielders instead. That's what causes batting collapses. And Rajasthan completely collapsed. Towards the back end, again, like I said, 21 from 17, even with 3 overs left to go, that's basically nothing. And they completely bottle it. Because again, that sort of lack of understanding and application, and that does teams in. Teams need to understand that, yes, when things are going good, you have to try your best to keep the momentum going. But when you suddenly lose both of your set batters, it's 100% okay to just take that one over and just play it out, get your bearings, and then move on from there. Especially with the platform that Parag and Jaiswal already set. You were more than capable of just taking one over and saying, all right, we're not going to do anything stupid. We're just going to play it safe. So that's more an application issue than anything else. And I don't think Rajasthan showed any sort of real weakness for teams to exploit. Generally speaking, when teams lose a match, you have to think either what they did wrong or what went wrong for them. In this match, it was just poor application. That's ultimately what went wrong for Rajasthan. However, I don't think there's any specific weakness that Rajasthan displayed today. This was just one of those, well, it happened. So you just kind of brush it off and move on. Because we've seen Rajasthan in these situations before, with a sudden batting collapse, but still finding ways to win. We've seen Rajasthan in similar situations all season. Either batting collapses at the start or batting collapses at the end, but somehow finding a way to win matches. So, again, this is probably just one of those matches. It wouldn't surprise me if Rajasthan gets back to their winning ways in their next few matches. And for SRH, they're going to hope to keep this momentum going because now we have 3 teams at 12 points and we still have a few teams at 10. So there's not really a margin for error because any one win or loss could drastically change the season. So, yeah, thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe. And with that, I'll be back for the next one. Have a good one.